Today I want to teach you about jobs, and I do have information that maybe some of you old Stellaris players even don't know yet. I keep this very quick today. What do you need? Where do you get this from? And what is the specialty that I want to tell you about? We start with the most basic thing. What do you need for a job to be fulfilled? You need population. We are already on the planet side here, and population does have its own tab on the home screen of any colony. Here you see the species of your population, you see their principal, you see unloyal population, and the most important thing, you see the demographics and when and which population will be available the next time. Your total population is visible right here, the current population, and which species are made out of that population. You have your unemployment and your available jobs, which we need today. So how do you get open job spots? Therefore, we go into the planet summary, and there you have two different ways to get jobs. First are districts. Districts are always the same. They have city, industrial, energy, mining, agriculture, and culture. Different planets can have different amounts of those districts. And when you hover over one of those districts, it will tell you, for example, in here, farmer jobs +2. It tells you on top what that job needs for upkeep and what that job produces. Here you have job-based production 16 food. That can vary from different planets. So if we go into a different planet, let's say Andor, the job-based production is now 13. Keep that in mind if you want to be very efficient with your empire, because that way you only want to fill the jobs that are making the most of your population on those kind of planets. Here the same, job-based production for a technician for energy is 24. If we go back to Earth, the job-based production is 16. So one population does only 16 at Earth, but 24 on Andor. Some jobs, like here in this industrial district, need also other resources to produce them into the resources you want. For example, here the metallurgist needs minerals to produce alloys. And in the lower part, you see job-based production. You see 4 alloys there, which is the third symbol. And job-based upkeep is 8 minerals, which is the second symbol. So it produces 4 alloys out of 8 minerals. And that's one way to get jobs. The next way is to build buildings. There you have a different amount of buildings. You also get more buildings in the future when you're researching new available buildings. Since we talked already about minerals to alloys, I just want to show you one example here, the forge. Forge adds 2 metallurgist jobs, but in this case, one metallurgist is taking 12 minerals and produces 8 alloys, which is a 50% better yield. But of course, buildings are more limited than districts. So what you want to do is take the specialty of that planet and build the right buildings and the right districts to have the best out of your planet. For example, if your planet is really high at producing minerals at the job-based production, then you can use that in the forges to produce a lot of alloys, because those forges, those metallurgist jobs, use more minerals than just a simple metallurgist from an industrial district. So always take a look at all the buildings and what you want to achieve. Now, sometimes it can happen that population is coming to your planet because of immigration. And sometimes you're building jobs and nothing happens, they're still being unemployed. Well, the reason is maybe that they have a different job level, because you have 3 different job levels, and therefore we go into the jobs tab. You have rulers, specialists, and workers. Oh, for your American people, those 3. And it can happen that population immigrates onto your planet that is maybe on the ruler level. So they need ruler jobs. You can take a look at those jobs, counselor, civil servant, and science director, and take a look at where you can add those jobs or which building adds those jobs. For the special case of rulers, we're going back to the planet summary, and you're taking a look at, in this case, this is already a world capital or your administrative capital, or that first building that you have on a planet. That one is doing 3 civil servant jobs, 1 counselor, and 1 science director. those are exactly the ruler jobs that you need. If those jobs are already filled at one planet, but you have open spots on a different planet, let's say you want to build one of those world capitals on a different planet and you want to have a ruler already available to be put into one of those jobs, you can then use resettlement. And in the resettlement, you can see those values. You can see what they are working on right now. Bronze means that they are workers. Silver means that they are specialists. And gold means that they are rulers, or this greenish. Here is one example of one unemployed. You see that this is a worker population. It is Vulcan and is currently unemployed on Risa. Now you want to resettle those. And how do you find out where to resettle them? If you open the drop-down menu, you will see your worlds that are available right now. A red number at the worker means they are unemployed. A green number at the workers means that there are free jobs. So at the moment I see that Andoria has got 4 open jobs. We have 1 unemployed in Risa. So I click on Andoria and then I can click on this resettle button, and that costs me a little bit of energy credits, but that unemployment is gone and Andoria has got 1 worker that is working there now. As you see right now, Andoria removed down to 3 and Risa is at 0 again. So if you can't keep up with building new districts or new buildings and your unemployment is rising, unemployment, by the way, also leads to crime, and crime leads to destabilized planets, which is really something that you don't want to have. That way you can redistribute your employees around your colonies. And now on to the one thing that maybe not even Stellaris players know about. And this is that every single species does have a specific bonus that they can play out. Let's say, for example, you click on the species right here in the population tab, and then you go to the species tab. There you see those traits that they have. We have argumentative for Tellarite, but what is really important is research from jobs plus 20% for Tellarite. That means if you have a Tellarite in a research job, that one population will produce 20% more than a standard population which does not have a trait. Every single species does have some of those benefits and also have a negative trait. Like for example, Bajoran do minus 15% research. And here comes a very tricky part in Star Trek Infinite, because swapping jobs is not that easy at the moment. Therefore, we're going back into the jobs tab, and I have tried that out already. When you hover over this menu here on top, you see the production of those jobs and the upkeep of those jobs. At the moment, we have a maximum of researchers, which are 5, and they are producing 42.6 research. Keep that in mind. We want to switch one of those into a Tellarite. I know that in my specialist population, I do have 1 Tellarite available, and that 1 Tellarite I really want to have in a research job. So what are you going to do? You can, through those 2 buttons, decrease and increase job slots. You need to think a little bit different here by swapping out jobs. So we need to open up 1 job, or we need to open up 1 spot, so that way we decrease 1 on the researchers, and now we're searching for that Tellarite that is somewhere else. There she is, and we are now decreasing those jobs until she also disappears. There she is, disappeared. That means she's now in the job pool, and now we're trying to get her into one of those research jobs by increasing that job slot and hope that the Tellarite will come out. I know this is a little bit finicky and whatsoever, but this is the only way that Star Trek Infinite does it at the moment. So we're decreasing all of them, we're increasing all of them, and hope that the Tellarite will be there. There she is. And what you now want to do is you really want to keep her in that job, because that's where she produces the most. You right-click on her, and now she's locked into that job. Now you can increase all the other jobs again and have your people working everywhere, but your Tellarite is now working on that research job. And what does that change? You're thinking, well, is that even necessary? Is that even worth it? Look at the research produced. 44.7, that is 2.1 more research just by swapping out people on your planet. And 2.1 research is almost like, this is 1% more research. You're saying, well, maybe that's not that much, right? But do that on every planet. And now, out of nowhere, you have 5% more research. And that works with all the other jobs too. Every single population does have some kind of trait that they are just better at. Like, for example, Bajoran does more unity from jobs, 15% more. I know it's a little bit tricky, but that's the only way that it works. I hope I could give you a little bit more information about how job works. And if you're interested in more of that, where I'm playing space games all the time, subscribe to the channel, like that video so that more people see this video. Very important information. And we see us again in the next one. See you. Bye-bye.